everybody. So I'm here for a review of Life After Lockup, Love After Lockup, DNA All the Way, Season 6, Episode 19. Let me tell y'all something. The season finale is next week, but I just have to say this. This has been a good season, okay? And I feel like this episode was just setting us up for what I hope is like a fireworks finale for this fuck shit. All right, so Will and Courtney. This was just a waste of space and tape and remixing old scenes and stuff. Like y'all were really stretching it. Y'all could have gave us some more Kiana and Deodric and Troy and Cam. Okay, so we get a new setup, and by that I mean they're showing Will outside showing up for his confessional interview, and he sees Courtney pull up with another man. Now usually we don't see people going into their interview process, and he's still processing the breakup of the relationship. But I actually feel like he's just mad at himself for all that money he spent. But then again, I don't feel sorry for you because you knew she had other men she was using for money while she was in jail, and you encouraged it because then it wouldn't fall on you. And now you're surprised that that's coming back to you. She didn't see you as any different. She's criminally minded. If there's anything Courtney can do, she can use people for what she needs. We have seen it in real time. Okay? So you're okay with her scamming other people and you got scammed yourself. Okay? So you should be mad at you, and we'll leave it there. Okay, that light is not. Okay, that's better for me. Anyway, he said he can't believe he has to do the interview. It's the most humiliating thing he's ever done, as he puts Coke and whatever the hell that drink was in there. And I'm like, people must be tied by contract to do their confessional interviews, because we've seen other people on other reality shows just walk off and like just quit and I guess maybe lose their money, but they must say like, you have to do this under these circumstances. And we know they ain't making like life-changing money. I mean, maybe life-changing depending on your life circumstances, but anyway. Okay. This is the most humiliating. You did not have to sign up for this show. We didn't have to know how stupid you were. There's something you want out of this too, Will, and I don't. Next. Okay. It's just like too bad, so sad for me. These scenes preparing us for the interviews, I was like, we had already seen clips of. I was just like, why is this going on so long? She starts laughing at the fact that she's been cheating on him and this, that, and the other. They start arguing about some BS that I tuned out of. The only interesting thing he said was, we actually slept together the other day, but that was your dumb ass fault. Moving on. Let me tell you something. Leticia and Keith. Leticia, I'm going to tell you right now, regardless of what Keith says and does, and I'm going to go in on him, I will always see you as a bird brain bitch. I am sorry. You are just inexcusable. You're dumb. Okay, and you're making a fool out of yourself on TV and your daughters inadvertently, and they don't deserve that. Okay, so anyway, she gets a call from her lawyer, like we didn't see her storm out at that restaurant last week. They give us, a whole 60-second rewind on that. And her charges haven't been dropped. And I was just like, okay, you're irresponsible as hell. She had another, then she starts giving us her record. She was like, well, I had, legal issues. This is different from all my other legal issues. She was like, but they were a long time ago. So apparently she has another felony for fraud because she kept signing checks for different things, and checks from different banks, knowing she didn't have the money or and I was just like, Leticia, you keep saying you're like 38. I'm 37. But the fact that checks were a regular thing for you is really giving like 49.50. I'm just saying, it's just, and even then, that's kind of a stretch. Nevertheless, okay, she lied on her food stamp application. I told you, I could tell what kind of ragged bitch she was, okay, and got caught. She is a scammer. She's a scammer. That's just how she operates. And now knowing that your oldest daughter was with her grandparents while you were in jail and her father is an active part of her life, this to me is why she's always looking so depressed. Because you went away to prison and essentially left your child. I mean, yeah, you had to go to prison, but those were bad decisions. And you took yourself out of your child's life. And then you took another chunk of years out of your daughter's life by spending it on the phone with Keith. Any teenage girl feel a way about that. That's why she always looks so unhappy, and it makes me sad to see her like that. So she tells him that the lawyer wants her to take a plea. Bitch, you know you guilty. Okay, you know you guilty. All right, she is saying that her youngest daughter's father, well, something happens, he could try to take full custody from her. And my thing is, and then she tells Keith, but if you adopted her, you would have the same rights as he does. That's not how that works. No, ma'am. First of all, there's several problems with this. If her father is absent from her life now and probably not paying child support or doing anything for her, he is not the kind of person that's going to go to court to take full custody of his daughter. That's why you're worried. Okay? And also, you can't legally adopt a child if the parent doesn't give you consent. Like, as a minor, it just seems like, what? Like, her father would have to consent to that. And then to say they have the same rights as that, like, they're not going to have the same rights. Anyway, okay, girl. So he says, so when she asked him about essentially taking care of her daughter, he says, we have a lot on our plate right now. He ain't going to take care of your kid. He ain't going to stop screwing a bunch of chicks for you or stay faithful to you while you go to jail. Leticia, that whole office looked like a low-end escort service. Certainly not a tax place. So I don't even understand people that took their taxes to y'all, because y'all look a damn mess. Anyway, side note, Leticia, I'm going to say this. When you were cooking dinner, I don't think anything is wrong with your pajamas if you and your girls, and even Keith was around, right? But you are not that 15-year-old boy's mother. And walking around like that, I think, is inappropriate. I really do. And I don't care how nobody feels about it. So she is facing 5 years in prison. And he says, well, I did 10, so I know what that's like. That's not comforting, Keith. That is so not comforting. And she was like, well, I held you down, though. And he said he didn't want that thrown in his face. Nah, bitch, you better take it. Okay, she was done for holding you down, but you let her do it. So much so you married her over the phone. That shit sound. And then they had her to show those flashbacks when he gave her them dumbass flowers and a little stuffed animal. She ain't no goddamn kid. So Leticia is saying to Keith in their bathroom argument and said, you need to hold me down if I go to jail, take care of my kids, and not have any chicks the whole time. Honestly, I agree as a married couple. But this is all the shit you should have considered, Leticia, before you committed fraud and married a man and now taking care of his kid, in addition to, well, I don't know how I can say you take care of them, but they live with you. You're doing all this for him and it's not reciprocated. Okay? I need you to catch on quick. All right? So they drive to court, they go in, they come out in 2 hours. She said she was going to take a plea deal just so she don't have to worry about her man. Bitch, that's your reasoning? Not your kids will be without a mother? And yes, I do believe she said that because she meant it. So she got a good plea deal, if you ask me. All she has to do is pay restitution and stay on probation. But how are you going to pay this restitution? Like, where do you all work? Keith, we know, don't work nowhere. Where do you work? Now with charges, but you have this house, you driving a Mercedes. We know it's probably leased. But it's also kind of like, I don't understand where she's getting this money from. She's going to end up in trouble again. Okay, anyway. She might do OnlyFans, so I can see her doing that. Anyway, she started planning another wedding while they're having like a lunch or dinner date, whatever it is. Because they didn't say their vows to each other. And I was like, well, how the hell you get married on the phone? But apparently she's talking about writing their vows. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I realized, oh yeah, and they got married over the phone. You were dumb to do that, Leticia. You were dumb to get married to a man over the phone, only for you to also let us know that his proposal wasn't romantic. It was like, will you fucking marry me? Bitch, that didn't tip you off. You the one in the free world. And that's how he approached you on the phone. He couldn't come up with nothing better than that. He couldn't even give you jail talk. You are a gosh, she is such a broad. Anyway, she ain't paid the restitution, but she planning the wedding. She starts going off on him. Did you ever want to marry me? And your proposal was stupid. It was, but bitch, you were dumber for accepting it. You're dumb. Joella, I want you to see this. Leticia is a cautionary tale. You don't want to be this kind of chick, messing with the likes or people similar to Deodric at her age. I want you to just, I know it's going to hurt for a little while, but baby, I just need you to push through. All right. I don't want to do my throuple yet. The thruples. All right. So Troy and Zaria, he's having dinner with his family and playing around with his daughter, after the memorial or whatever. That little girl looks like both of them at the same time. He invited his whole family to their upcoming wedding because they want to do something. See, Leticia, a man should want to do that if he's married to you. He'll come out and do the right thing, like Michael and Troy. Anyway, girl. So, Craterface decides she doesn't want to announce her pregnancy. She's only a month along, but you chose to pull him to the side at his father's memorial that he's breaking down over to tell him you were pregnant, because that couldn't have waited. When all y'all were doing was playing around with the Christmas tree when he got that call in the first place. Anyway, Troy walks out and we don't know where he's going. And so they asked me, like, well, where's your husband going? Is he sure okay? And she was like, well, I just think today was really emotional for him. He goes to sit in the car. I was thinking it was maybe a friend or something. And he starts talking to Yana about co-parenting. She didn't seem to want, I don't think, any smoke. He didn't need to bring Zaria out there or let her know where he went and all that other shit. Troy needs to have a good relationship with Yana to have his daughter in his life. She was like, all that matters is my daughter is happy. Daughter is happy. She was like, she in there having fun. She was like, I know, I'm just saying. I know that there can be love between people. That's not necessarily the romantic, sort of usurping, but kind of a respectful love that can happen after people break up and they still have kids. Like, you don't want nothing to happen to them if they need something, that kind of thing. But do y'all think Troy is still in love with that girl? Like, I know he was saying, and he was, respectful and stuff, but I also kind of feel like they had been together all of those years. They had a child together that she even named after him. And it's a girl. And it's a cute name for a girl, but I'm just making a point. And she's like, no, I don't want to deal with Zaria ever in my life. This is just about me and my kid. And I can see Zaria's psychotic ass having said wild shit to her. Like, I think she has more than enough reason, okay, to be mad at her, even if she is still in love with Troy, because I can see why. But I was just like, Troy, you kind of playing with your life because Zaria is crazy. But then I realized, as more I thought about it, I was like, but Troy is the only one working now. They got a new house, new life. He got his own company and stuff. Yeah. Whoever holds the purse strings holds the control. Because when Zaria was carrying everything, And she made it very clear who was running stuff. I don't know that Zaria can run stuff. You wanted to quit working and Be proud of your man. And a crazy bitch like Zaria needs a job because all she has to do is sit around and think about and brood about what he may or may not be doing. But I do wonder if now that Troy doesn't have that sense of being dependent on Zaria, and now that he's only been shortly out of prison, I wonder if he's come to. You know what I mean? Like, maybe this really wasn't the woman I really wanted, but it was just something to do. And she reminds me of my mother, and I'm used to this toxicity. Anyway, because he had to know that him sitting up there saying, I love you for that. I love you, for that. He had to know Zaria was going to see this on TV. And that bitch is crazy. I'm just saying, they're having a little boy. Troy, I just really didn't want you to get caught up with her and the kid because this bitch is nuts. And I hate to say this about anybody. I just don't think somebody as psychotic and selfish and absorbed with the man in her life is in the best position to parent another child well when those are your priorities. That's just me. All right. I'm not saying that's all I'm gonna say. I'll leave it there. No, I don't want to carry it away. So he calls his mother because he had something to tell her in person, and she starts complaining about, well, you just calling me out the blue, and I don't know how you expect me to get down there. You need to pay for my ticket. So he was like, I will. I was like, I can't with this raggedy ass bitch. Her and Zaria are two sides of the same coin. Both Karen and Zaria are crazy. We need to get him a cage match, and I hope Karen. Anyway, so he told his mom he had news, and she was like, when he picked her up from the train station, she was like, what, y'all breaking up? And I was kind of like, damn, I wish. Even I wish that. He was like, no, I wouldn't call you all the way down here to tell you that we were breaking up. Troy Production had to tell you to call your mom because I don't think you would have called your mother to tell her y'all were pregnant and call her all the way down to where y'all live if production had told you to do so. Because they wanted a good scene and they already know drunk ass Karen, drug using ass Karen will give them a shitty show. All right. And that's what they want. For a pregnancy announcement with that bitch, are you kidding me? Y'all, never mind. Anyway, Justine and Michael. So Michael walks out pissed. I don't think for some reason I didn't realize maybe what she said that had made him so upset, but he was pissed that Justine said she would pay for her part of the wedding. For some reason, I don't think I heard that right last week. I didn't realize that's what he was mad about, but honestly, I think that's a healthy reaction. I do. I think as a man, to be offended because she wanted to use her own money for their wedding, and he's like, she took care of me. She held me down when I was in prison. It's my job to take care of her now, and that's what I want to do. And the fact that he can't do it, he said, makes him feel like a failure. But to me, it wasn't coming from a place of selfishness and why you say that in front of everybody. It was really like, I'm afraid I can't please her, and I love her, and that's what I want to do. They'll be fine. They're two people who are actually really in love. And Michael wanted to change his life. And Michael's frustration when she walked out there was really like, I used to be able to make that in hours. Like that would be nothing, for what he was doing. And he was like, I could do that in like make more than that in just hours. And now I can't do that anymore. And I imagine even if you were drug dealing, it is very, very hard to go from making that kind of money tax-free to not having that kind of money. And then the kind of money you're getting is taxed and less. I can imagine that's an adjustment. Okay. And it kind of is a fucked up one. However, to Justine's point, but you weren't free. So was it worth it? Justine thinks something else is wrong. And I really think it's because some other shit brewing with their finances. And not just like regular stuff. Like I think he may have gave that barbershop money investment and it was, it went on the up and up. I mean, that house they living in and stuff, and all those kids look well taken care of and everything. They must be doing all right. So she says they're going to Times Square. I said, Times Square? Girl, what? I thought Michael's from New York. He couldn't. But she said her and her mom were going to see a show. I was like, okay, make it quick, because we ain't got no time to be seeing y'all get robbed and stuff and doing police reports on the show. Justine comes out on her alien superstar sunglasses to hang out with her mother, who asks if her sunglasses are upside down. White lady, moving on. The mom starts telling Justine basically that Justine's problem is that since she was 12 or 13, she was rebellious, and that's why they always bumped heads. I think her mother really lacks emotional maturity. Like, she still feels like her child owes her something in terms of emotional care. And it's not supposed to be that way. The parent is supposed to do that for the child. And I say that because I actually think Courtney's mom was a better example where she's trying to warn her and she's just exhausted with it. Like, I've done everything I know how to do with her and she's just wayward. But it didn't seem like her mother was like, you were such and such kid and I'm still mad about it. You know, like they were sisters or some shit. Anyway, Justine was like, no, I agree. I was rebellious. Justine is a little upset with her mother though because of her father's relationship. He left Justine's mom when she was 2 weeks old and he joined the Navy. I said, God damn, you'll do anything to get away from child support and help and care. Anyway, he abandoned her again at her 16th birthday party. She was like, he showed up and I was telling everybody, oh, that's my dad. You know, we're about to have a dance. And then he left. That's some trifling ass shit. My heart hurt for her. And she gets jilted before the father during the dance for her 16th birthday. Are you fucking kidding me? The mother is still talking to her like teenage rebellion is just something so terrible. Like, yeah, I'm sure it felt bad. Children do rebel, but you were also the same one making her feel bad about her weight and shape that you projected onto her as a young Black girl. You didn't know how to raise a Black child either. Okay? So yeah, you should deal with that too. And the mom's dumbass said, you know, I don't understand how she even has abandonment issues. If her father was never there, why does she feel abandoned? That was always the case. Did she know her daddy alive? There's people whose fathers died before they're born, and they still deal with that. Or whose mothers died shortly after birth, who still deal with abandonment issues. It's not just like you see people around you with two parents and you hear about what their life is like. You watch TV and the nuclear family, and they know there's a missing part of their life. Like, what the fuck? Okay, anyway, why would you think that wouldn't affect her? That pissed me off. But anyway, then we see Michael borrowing $1,000 from his mother because he wants to take care of Justine. And honestly, Michael probably gave her that $1,000. So, oh well. Otherwise, she'd be, back in her house or whatever. Now, let's Kiana, Deodric, and Joella. Y'all are entertaining for this season, but I wanted to see y'all grow past this. Okay. They're going to meet with an investigator. By they, I mean Kiana and Deodric this episode, because we all know Deodric is on some BS. Kiana, if this mess with Joella is jeopardizing everything that you have, then you need to get away from him because he is the root cause of this. Period. You and Joella wouldn't be at each other's throats if it wasn't for him. Joella does seem really hurt though. She always looks sad to me, even before, and not like sad, like, oh yeah, that's some sad shit. You should but she looks really sad. Like she's walking around in pain, barely keeping it together. I feel bad for her. I really do. Clearly production made her roll up to that sorry ass granddaddy's house. She said she would have never done something like this to Joella, because she was talking about that affidavit. She said, Joella Oh no, she said I would have never done anything like this to Kiana. I get them mixed up. She said she has kids, she works, she goes to school, she handles her business. She was like, Kiana be doing her thing. I would never do that to her, so why would you do that to me and my kids? And I can respect that, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Joella actually gave you a very serious compliment, Kiana, and she may even low key admire you and how you've handled your life, even if she doesn't like you for obvious reasons. But Kiana, you are suspect number one. Writing dumb hoe in the back of her car. Like I told you, slashing the tires on top of writing dumb hoe. That's a woman's crime. It is. It could be one of the other chicks he's messing with because we all know he ain't faithful to nobody. But considering the tension between you two and the fact that you had that stupid investigator go up to her house with an affidavit to make it go all the way trying to trick her into it, says to me, I have the right to suspect your guilt because now y'all are trying to trick somebody into letting the charges go. And Kiana, you don't have enough to say to your lawyer for me. It's like y'all, it ain't looking good. So Kiana meets up with the lawyer and investigator. The investigator failed at his task. They explain that she wants money for the stuff that was destroyed, in addition to her tires. Why wouldn't she? She is a single mother with 3 fucking kids, and I'm sure barely making it. That's not the only, her tires aren't the only thing that got destroyed. Anyway, so meanwhile, I see why Deodric ended up in jail, okay? And that's because of his dumbass daddy. He thinks she filed the charges out of emotion. I said, you damn right, who don't file charges out of emotion? Somebody did something to you and they did it wrong. And, like, what the fuck was she supposed to do that out of? And he says to her, quote, growth is more important than justice, end quote. I said, that's the dumbest goddamn shit I've heard since George Bush told us freedom ain't free to justify military occupation in Iraq. Are you fucking kidding? That's some dumb shit to say. Growth is more important than justice. Yeah, because you wish you wouldn't have gotten justice. If you don't get the hell out of here with that bullshit, Joella is hurt. She's hurt. I'm sure she's stressed out. She's disappointed. I'm sure at this point she feels used by Deodric, despite the fact that she's in love with him. You know, but she has goals. She has 3 kids with this man. So even if she wants to go no contact, I mean, she can't unless the courts get involved. She would still have a good chance of getting her kids. It wouldn't be like so much of her life or anything would change. But that's a lot for a young woman. Okay, with 3 kids on her own, trying to get through school because she wants a better life for her and her kids, that will stretch you. And it will stretch you and it will stress you. Joella, I'm sorry, she doesn't deserve this at all. And Deodric's family gaslighting her and basically saying she's a scorned woman, knowing damn well Deodric is still messing with her and breadcrumbing. It's some bullshit. And she is right. People do treat her like she's bad or like she did something wrong. And somewhere in her spirit, she's been taught to take it, and now it's coming to the fore. I actually think it's a healthy thing that she's crying. Because she looks sad. And I really want Joella's life to pick up. And I know what it is to get caught up with a sorry son of a bitch. And you've loved that person and that person betrays you, but you can get through it. You ain't the only woman that's ever been through it. And most importantly, you're not the only woman who's ever survived. You're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. And she says she has the right to justice. Kiana's alleged behavior wasn't based off emotion. So what the fuck? So why is she being blamed like something's wrong with her? I really felt bad for her though. I can definitely see how hurt she is. And you know what? Fuck you, Kiana. When I saw her cry, I said, fuck you. And double fuck you, Deodric, because you're the reason for this shit. So the lawyer says she asked for a one-on-one meeting with you. And the lawyer said, what do you think about that? And I can tell that white man was basically like, this could all go away if you just sit down with her. Like, this he was like, look, this is what it is. She says she doesn't know because talking to somebody like that is useless. All she is going to do is bark. I've only seen Joella raise her voice when she was mad at Deodric at the golf course. That's the only time I've seen it. Even when they were at their cookout and Kiana's walking around mad, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other, Joella was not screaming at her. Joella was not fighting her. And even at that golf course, she was mad at Deodric. She just said, oh, the kids can't come? Well, then my kids ain't going to their birthday party either. So that's not even true. Bitch, if you want to stay out of legal trouble, Kiana, you'll do that just to keep that shit off your record. All right, so the lawyer says, well, you're up for a Class B misdemeanor. And he was like, honestly, the ball is in her court because she pressed charges. He was like, so we have to play her game. I'm like, you got a lawyer and an investigator. And still, this is not going your way. And Joella's only representing herself. Like, Kiana. Joella was like, Kiana, it's giving you're guilty. It really is. Okay, you didn't expect really anything to really seriously happen to you. Deodric, I don't know what you were trying to say with that gorilla and that lion metaphor, but shut the fuck up. Okay, and comparing two Black women to animals is already a mess. They're an enemy. They're enemies because of you. Okay. Joella was like, she wanted to resolve it and honestly sign the affidavit because she kind of wanted to go away too. But she was like, she has to know there are consequences to being a conniving bitch. But she was saying that through tears. So I think Kiana is avoiding stuff because she knows if she says too much, we'll be able to confirm her guilt. But the gag is, Kiana, we kind of already know you guilty. Okay. Brooke, JK, and Alex. Yup, y'all getting the same treatment as Deodric, Kiana, and Joella. Nope, once you mic'd up, y'all all in it together. All right, so y'all, Alex is basically kicking JK out of her life to the curb. She's hurt and she's moving on. Joella, I hope you're inspired by Alex's words. And I say her words because we know that people's actions often don't line up. But I'm just here to tell you, girl, you're going to be all right. All these women who wouldn't have this level of drama, if any, in their lives, if they just took these motherfuckers out of it. So he pulls off telling us essentially why he likes both of them. Alex held me down, da, 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 da. And Brooke, took care of me when I was in jail. And I'm just like, JK, you are retarded. No, I'm not. You are slow and meth mouth. You are Tiger King. Anyway, so Brooke starts cursing JK through voicemail, which we find out means James Keith. You should go by James, because honestly, I think JK does not roll off the tongue like a CJ or an AJ, so just don't do it. Why do you need to tell Brooke anything? JK, why are you talking about what I need to tell Brooke, this, that, and the other? All you need to say to her is, I don't want to be with you anymore. If you come around here again, my parents will press charges, because we know you pressing charges ain't going to really hit the same because of your record. But your parents are the kind that would press charges. Anyway, Brooke's another one, I think, like Will with Courtney. I think she feels dumb about how much she invested in him. All they do is fight. We haven't seen them really have like just a romantic kind of chill moment. Brooke is toxic as fuck too. I'm not letting that go. And I don't think either one of them are good for them, because I remember when JK snatched them keys out the ignition. I'm not over that. So his mother asked, when he came back, where was he? He said he saw Alex. He said, she's pregnant. And she said, well, what do you have to do with that? Mama, you already know the answer to that. And he said, she was like, are you scoring both of them? Both of them? I was, oh, Lord. So stepdaddy is like me at that point. Like, your bullshit has to stop. I don't want to hear it. I just want to drink my damn Coca-Cola in peace because this is my house and where I live. All right. And the poor mom's friend just be quiet on camera, like, oh, I know she got to be stressed. Anyway, so Brooke, how the fuck do you show up to his mother's house? Because this pissed me off, and I don't even like his mom. Okay? Banging on the door for JK perpetually and cursing him out outside the door. That's not his apartment or his home for that matter. You can't just do that. That's someone else's home. I wouldn't want you nowhere near around my house. Forget when the stepdaddy was like, oh, we have neighbors or whatever, be quiet. No, you don't have the right to bang on my fucking door whether I was out, with 16 miles of acres. Like, what the fuck? 16 miles, 16 acres, away from people and all that other shit. She comes in the house demanding to see their son, this, that, and the other, and shouting and yelling and bum rushing through the house. I said, I don't understand white people. I really don't. Because, there are house rules that should just immediately be a part of your life, or you weren't raised right. But I'm not going to say that about you, Brooke, because I think your mother did everything she knew how to do. You're a bad seed. Anyway, so she's bum rushing the house, banging on the bathroom door, whatever, and the mother was just saying to him, I'm not going to lie for you. I'm not. Stepdaddy was just like, so his car is here. He probably took a walk somewhere. His fat ass ain't taking a walk nowhere. Now, Brooke, JK has gained weight. And people do that sometimes. And as someone who struggled with my weight throughout my life, I always feel the need to check people when I feel like they're making fun of people for things they cannot help. And even if somebody is incredibly overweight, you don't know what's bothering that person. You don't know what kind of health issues they may be facing. And you're not skinny, Brooke, while we're on it, in case you were wondering. Okay. I said, this bitch is crazy. Why are you chasing a man that won't pick up the phone to talk to you, who isn't even the father of one of your kids, let alone the two? You look stupid as hell running after a man like that as a mother. Stepdaddy ain't having it. JK, for you to say, what are you talking about? When have you called me? James Keith. Like, he didn't just hear her voicemails and see all her missed calls, and like we didn't watch him reject her calls. And see, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. JK, you ain't shit either. I know his parents had to be at more peace. I hate to say it, when he was like away, because he had just brought so much hell in that house. He tells her he had to go see Alex, and she's mad about it. Like, she didn't just tell us as she drove this car for 2 episodes looking for him that she knows he's with that bitch Alex, this, that, and the other. What do you need to go see her for? I really think JK is going to try to tell her, but so she'll leave him alone. So she'll stop picking up his calls even when he like does booty calls, because she just doesn't want to be, he doesn't want to be tempted into that, and he can't do it on his own. So he wants to turn her off from him completely. That's all that's happening. Period. That's it. And that's all I got to say. I think I got everybody. But yeah, I'll see y'all next week for the season finale, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.